Hi, this is Kat Carasello. One of the things that I really wanted to stress and offer and extend to each of you is this beautiful interactive map of the Journey Path, not only of Journey Path Institute, but of our collective journey and the path that often draws us in on the river of time and space. Now, one of the things that I love so much about my own creative practice is this beautiful use of words and mythopoetic language. And this really lends itself very well to expressive art and art as process because we get to really experience the value of lengthening, broadening, deepening our own access to how we feel as we travel in our own life journey. And I say that with ease right now, but you all know, and I know it's not always easy. In fact, it can get really, really difficult and really challenging. And so the Journey Path Institute map, this beautiful interactive map, is taking into account the real human experience and how we can come back to connect to that which is drawing us along our own journey, not just the journey that takes us from point A to point B, but the journey that spirals us into the center of our presence and ultimately our essence. And I think that for those of us who are really dedicated to depth work and interested in journey work and developing this deep language of discovery, there is an innate connection to the transformative process and to evolutionary growth, to the spiral experience that brings us into the center of the self and brings us out again to the edge of awareness and collective connection. If you're like me, there's a sense maybe of having a very strong and compelling internal life. Maybe you consider yourself a hermit. Maybe you consider yourself a seeker or a dreamer. These are more interior states. And yet, I think we all deeply desire to connect to earth based energies, to be wise within the world, to utilize our skills, our strengths, to benefit more than ourselves, to extend our energies out to the community, out to the collective, to make a difference. And it's this sense of service, this desire to guide and hold and love that also brings us into relationship with this particular map that is the spiral path of experience. So let me share it with you. I have a lovely paper version of the map that's an interactive map that's actually right on Journey Path Institute website. But to see it and feel it and hold it, understanding that it's intended to give you a bit of a sense of moving from experience to experience. And the purpose of it is to step in to your story, to have the wisdom that you need to generate the experiences that you deeply desire, to expand the journey path, to exercise your own knowing, your own desire to live inside of your life. And I think that what's so interesting is just to get a sense of how there are different archetypal energies operating consistently within this map, and that there are places on the map that serve us as stepping stones, as demarcations of how and where you and I and we can travel, not necessarily in a straight line, but these are the points, destinations of discovery. So these serve as stepping stones, destinations of discovery as you travel. So the first destination of discovery is entering. Now, the entering you can see happens as you move down through the mythic river, and there's a waterfall that pools. This entering energy is the space that offers source. This is the very beginning, the entering phase, where you find source. And this is the source of self guided awareness, to be your own guide, to know thyself, to turn that mirror to meet yourself. The mirror represents the pool and water of personal connection, of what you see and know and where you can go in relationship with yourself, where deeper reflection evokes the response and the image, symbol, and creative experience are the ways of entering. They're the modalities of connection. They represent, too, a mirror. So, this beautiful space of entering offers a compelling way to say, hello, again, I'm ready. Again, I'm waiting and ready to enter into this connection, this point of connection. The next place in this journey path is denoted by this traveling vessel, this empty vessel that is seeking. This is the space of seeking that holds the energy of trust and movement. It is here where you are willing to step in to that little boat and start to paddle, start to row, explore new territory, travel on your own. The boat invites you to be curious as it turns you in the direction of both seeking, the curiosity of seeking, and finding the pleasure of finding what is yours. The next place of landing is healing. The space of healing is held within the fortress of the heart. This is where we often meet pain and challenge and grief and loss, and where we may have experienced that tendency to provide the human self with protection and build that fortress, that unwillingness to be soft, to be vulnerable. The space of healing is held within the walls of protection, where you can soften, where you can get vulnerable, where you can do the deeper healing work to meet the shadow or the shame or the pain, the grief, the loss. Another place of profound truth. To meet these wounded places is not to fall to pieces. It actually is to enter in through the wound to find deeper healing. It's a profound place to spend time in your life. And many of you can relate. Many of you have experienced this. This is not a one time visit, is it? We come back around to meet ourselves at certain junctures on the journey path because they are true to the human experience. But healing happens where pain, shame, sorrow, grief, and loss are offered sacred space to be acknowledged, to be seen, to be known. Traveling the journey path. And the next stage is to move into relationship with growing. You can see this icon denotes a traveling on solid ground. And there's blooming energy coming right out of those boots, right? That growing is an invitation to step onto the journey path that has taken you in a new direction. It's the invitation to step into a new story. It's connected, it's active, it's invitational, yet the awareness is rising. It opens, and there's this wonderful, palpable sense of exploring possibility in this growing space, as if this is a garden, as if this is a place that holds growth at its core. It is rich with potential and growing in this part of the journey path evokes and honors all of the different rhythms and ways that you can recognize in your life. And these are also calling you forth to have a full sense of expression and expansion, to experience, fully experience expansion. The next space in the journey path is holding. You see the sacred vessel, the chalice. Holding is the experience of being renewed, being full. It is a place of refreshed perspective. The hidden wellspring is flowing. Once discovered, it rises up to the surface and it continues to serve, to flow, to provide source waters and those uh, endless resources, personal resources. When you are here in this place of holding, you have moved through other parts of the map. You have been fully in experience to get here. Holding is the opportunity to be present to the wisdom that lives within you and to be witness to its potential that is being expressed, that is moving out, rippling out from the center. The next place on this map, the journey map, is guidance. It's the labyrinth of life. It is a path of self determined desire and direction. You can feel the potency that lives here. You can feel the energies that have coalesced here from other places on the map. Explore your next steps and become divinely inspired to cultivate trust in phases of experience and ways of learning that open up potential, that take you out to the edges and into the center and back out. This sense of guidance starts to shift us in our awareness, often towards what we are bringing to others. Whereas other parts of being on that map of the journey path are more interior. Guidance starts to express an energy that is external, that is generative, that is communal, that is connected. This next place on the journey map, this next stepping stone is purpose. This is a powerful place on the map because it is very connected to a distinctive path. That the journey path will start to shift and turn you in the direction of purpose that reveals insight and inspiration, that it actually becomes the source of inspiration, a potent path for inviting an aligned life. And often, what I sense here is this energy that brings us into alignment in life, often with life work, not work life, but life work. This process of defining and aligning offers a space of stretching into voice and choice and loosening that arrow that guides you to a new destination. So there's a great sense of cycles of completion and cycles of expanded experience right here at this juncture of purpose and path. You can see that we have now moved around this spiral into the center that holds presence. And presence is a culminating experience that is lasting. It is not a forever experience because our humanness moves us in and out of awareness and moves us out of alignment with certain parts of life, reminding us that we get to do this work. We get to choose this work to bring us back on the path at any given time. This centering space of presence is consistent and conscious connection. When it is active, it is encompassing for self and for community and in the collective, because your presence matters in the collective. This presence, this awareness, this perspective offers advanced path work its soul. This is the soul presence of what is the advanced path work within this community of Journey Path Institute, but what it is to be living in advanced path work in your own life. And that this allows us to enter deeper into the realms of mystery and mastery. Our own presence, our own presencing offers us the ultimate path to redefining, claiming, knowing, and holding essence, becoming essence, becoming essential. And so all of you can see how this path offers these beautiful distinctions of awareness of how and why and where you can delve deeper into a body of work that is serving you. And this map is also what serves us in the Institute to define our programs and to develop the materials and the communities that offer these distinctive experiences. The map of Journey Path Institute is yours, it's mine, it's ours. You can see the imagery, the beautiful imagery, the mythic river moving down and flowing into different landscapes, a variety of places, territories that evoke in us how and where we travel in our day-to-day experience. You can see that the first phase, the first 3 points on the map are where we dip in, where we explore, just starting to connect with our own knowing, starting to remember, how it is to do this work. And to go back and have these experiences of recognizing, this is exactly where I am right now. It's so encouraging. It's such amazing reflective energy to have. And it's a jumping off point for you to discover more. The next 2 phases, the next 2 points on this map are growing and holding. This is sort of the middle ground. This is where we dive deep. This is where we engage the journey and develop deeper layers of our own knowing. This is where we often move into personal myth, empowerment, transformation, because that seeking and healing has been fully experienced enough to know how to go back and do it again when you need it. And then finding flow, guidance, purpose, presence. This is where you expand depth work, where you really develop your own language and use the experiential creative process to define, actualize evolutionary growth. We think of art making as the articulation of what we know to be true, but expansion. and articulating and moving into the flow allows us to travel further than we even knew we could go. So I'm curious where you sense you are just by looking at these icons, where you sense you are right now on the journey path using this tool to explore and just choosing your own sense. And it could just be one of these beautiful symbols, the mermaid in the mirror, the rowboat, or the coracle, the fortress of the heart, or the fragmented heart, the boots with blooms, the chalice with blooms, the chalice, the labyrinth of life, the huntress, the rooted tree of life. Which of these images evokes the most sense of I am here in my journey? This is connected to where I am right now. And let that guide you. And as we move from this to the next, I want to invite you to Creative Interplay, a masterclass that is designed to give us time together in real time on a Zoom room to actually engage creative interplay. So come join me and click below. It's so easy to join. You're going to have so much fun. It's free. It's a wonderful opportunity. We're going to expand on the map with archetypes of life. So you don't want to miss that on February 8th.